Hello. On Thursday, July 14th, 2016, while French families were celebrating Bastille Day, which is the French equivalent of America's 4th of July, a lone truck driver drove a 19-ton truck into a large crowd of people who had just finished watching a breathtaking fireworks display. The driver was a petty criminal from the African country of Tunisia. As of Friday, July 15th, 84 people are dead and scores more in very serious condition. Many people were surprised at what had happened. Those who had seen the murderer in their neighborhood, well, they never suspected he was a Muslim, because many of them had seen him eating pork and doing all kinds of things, well, that Muslims just don't do. At first, authorities thought, well, perhaps he's acting alone. Next, we're told that 7 more suspects had been arrested. And now the authorities have gone back to insisting once again the jihadi was just a lone wolf. And of course ISIS, who recently told the press that they were dissolving their push for a caliphate, announced that this despicable murder is a soldier of ISIS. News reports coming out of France state that authorities believe this jihadist must have been radicalized very quickly. Oh, really? What most people don't know is that this Muslim was probably using a deception known in Islam as taqiyya, which is a form of a loud deception or lie invoked to mislead or lull non-Muslims into a false sense of security, allowing the Muslim using this taqiyya technique to do whatever it is he's about uninhibited, or at least until the time is right for an Islamic takeover. In order to expose this deception, we will present actual quotes from the Quran and Hadiths. For those of you who don't know, the Hadiths are books that are second only to the Quran. Now we do this to eliminate any suggestion that our expose is solely based on a knee-jerk reaction or unfounded opinions. The Quran is very specific on who Muslims may or may not have as friends. The Quran specifically warns Muslims when they have the upper hand, and I quote, "O Muslim believers, take not Jews and Christians as friends. They are friends of each other. Whoso of you makes them his friends is one of them. Allah guides not the people of the evildoers." Surah 551. Now this is repeated again in the Quran, only this time with an exception allowed, to deceive the Christians and Jews when the Muslim is outnumbered and fearful, possibly because he's living in a Western nation. Quote, "Let not the Muslim believers take the unbelievers for friends, rather than the Muslim believers. For whoso does that belongs not to Allah in anything, unless you have fear of them. Allah warned you, beware of him, and unto Allah is the homecoming." Surah 3:28. Now we shouldn't be surprised that the French terrorists deceived so many. Remember here in America, the 9/11 terrorist who visited strip joints and partied hardy while drinking booze and all kinds of things? All of these things prohibited in Islam, and a sure guarantee that any Muslim who does such things will go directly to hell. But they knew what they were doing was wrong. But because they were about to die in a jihad against the American infidels, they felt assured that they would be ushered immediately into heaven, because dying for Islam is the only guarantee of getting into heaven. And by dying for Allah, everything they did that was forbidden in Islam would be forgiven. As the Quran teaches, quote, "Think not of those who are slain in Allah's way as dead. Nay, they live, finding their sustenance in the presence of their Lord. They rejoice in the bounty provided by Allah. And with regard to those left behind, who have not yet joined them in their bliss, the martyrs glory in the fact that on them is no fear, nor have they cause to grieve. Martyrs go directly from life to paradise, where they wait for those who must first go through the day of judgment." Surah 3, 169-70. In the Hadith, Sahih Muslim 20, number 4678, we read about a man who during a battle was eating dates instead of fighting. He needed assurance from Muhammad as to what would happen to him if he joined the fight only to be killed. The story is recorded in the Hadith goes like this. Quote, "It has been reported on the authority of Jabir that a man said, 'Messenger of Allah, where shall I be if I am killed?' He," meaning Muhammad, replied, 'In paradise.' The man threw away the dates he had in his hand, and he fought till he was killed. He was in such a hurry to die and go to paradise that he did not even wait until he could finish the dates." End of quote. An ISIS document surfaced recently titled Safety and Security Guidelines for the Lone Wolf Mujahideen, which provides detailed instructions on successfully carrying out terror attacks. The manual tells jihadists how to conceal their true identities in the West, as it instructs, and again we quote, "You should make sure to not look particularly attached to religion. Look like a Muslim. A man who works on a secret operation should meddle or become part of the general population. If you can avoid having a beard, wearing Islamic clothes, using miswak, which is a sort of toothbrush recommended in the hadiths, and avoid an Islamic devotional booklet with you, it's better. Also, you should not be going too often to places like mosques, Islamic institutes, or Islamic libraries. You should also not wear anything but Western-style clothes so that you can appear neutral and not draw an attention to yourself." End of quote. Remember, when it comes to plotters or schemers, the Quran tells us, again we quote, "And they, the disbelievers, schemed or plotted, and Allah schemed against them, and Allah is the best of schemers." Surah 354. The next time, and sadly we won't have to wait too long, that we hear of a jihadist attacking innocent civilians or blowing up property, and then we turn on the television and watch the talking heads begin pointing their fingers while the politicians start wringing their hands and arguing if the Islamist terrorist is acting alone or if he's part of Hamas, part of Al-Qaeda, Muslim Brotherhood, Hezbollah, PLO, ISIS or ISIL, or any number of many jihadist organizations. Just remember, you don't need to argue whether it's a lone wolf or debate which one of the terrorist organizations it is. To paraphrase James Carville, it's Islam, stupid. Until next time, I'm Dr. J.P. Sloan. Thanks for watching.